That I would. I'm putting together my Intermountain Railroad Company cars. These are the Intermountain ones that I got for the Canadian National. Oops, sorry. How I put these on. This is the return pipe, which is the two big ones. And then we've got these two small pipes down here. Okay. It starts off, I don't know if you guys can see them. Yep, you can. With a bunch of itty bitty holes. Now, if you look at the holes, they're in different places. That's a good thing. Now, we've got 3 pieces of pipe here. Let's just show you the 3 pieces of pipe. We have got 1 piece, 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces. This piece up here that I'm pointing to right now happens to be the biggest or the thickest one. That's the return line, and it goes over on that one far side. These two, however, and this is going to be really, really tough to see. This pipe right up here, each one of those little blocks there, you could kind of see it a little bit just a minute ago, has a hole in the top of it to receive this pipe here. So these blocks and these blocks line up with one another. But this hose has got to go down first, and these are not easy to get onto. So hopefully I'll kind of show you the technique that I use to do these on one of them. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do the easier of the two. All right, so I've got my nice, neat little tiny pipe here. You can see how little it is. The first thing you want to do is set it up to make sure you know which holes it aligns to, which I'm not aligning to the correct holes. You can see that they're off, so that means I've got to flip this around. And now my pipe holes align up. Now the next thing is you'd think it'd just be a simple, just push this thing on down there and it'll be set to go. Well, no, it's not that simple, because the holes are just the right size. Okay, they are just the right size of the item. So what you need to do is kind of stick and go. And again, it makes it really hard to have glue into the holes. Believe it or not, I am actually putting these in holes. So once it's aligned, see, this one's not quite aligned because this is not where it's supposed to be. Get that in there. Get that in there. Do this again. See, that pops right on out. Get that in there. Get some capillary glue on it. And in some cases, yes, you do want to do it rather quickly. See, it just keeps popping up until the glue settles down a little bit. This one, do the same. This one's nice, it's setting in the hole. Get some glue on there. Now I am using probably what people say is a little bit too much, but guess what? It holds. And the nice thing about this glue is Really doesn't show up. So you can see here, that side doesn't want to stay in. We got these guys down. Hit this with a little bit of glue, hit this with a little bit of glue. Again, just one little slip and everything moves. And now that I've got to mess unglue all of this, it makes it that much harder. I think one of my problems is my ends are a little bit too long. So we're just going to come up and snip those a little bit. You're not going to really see this. But right now they seem to be causing me some issues. Now I'm kind of racing against time because I've already got glue down in these holes, which you can see is already dried in a lot of cases. So this one, even though I fitted up, it did not want to play when I was putting it in place. So now that I've got it in place, I'll put a little bit more glue back on. Okay, and that's how that goes on. I'm going to do the rest of them, which go one on top of the other, and then we'll see what the next steps are. Put on are these little buggers. Just to get some perspective, how little these little buggers are. Let's put a drill bit over by it. Okay, so they're kind of small. They get to go up on this side. See if I can point at where these are at so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Where to go? They get to go on holes that are over on this, which will hold these in place, which you can actually leave them so that they open and close, which I'm going to do for right now until I get everything settled out and want to do some fun stuff on the inside. So we are going to put all of those things into all of these little holes and then clip all of those doors on. And I chose to go with these doors. I had a variety of doors, so it's either those or I could have gone with these cross-hatched ones. I think I showed you guys the other ones already, which are the plain old flat ones, which, yeah, they're okay. And I could have also gone with Canadian red ones in the diamond plate, but I chose these. I just like them. So we're going to go ahead and start putting these suckers on and see how this works. Car number 1. Now I've got to let this dry, and I put one of them on backwards. Let's see if we can find it. But they do open. I'm not going to open them all the way because, oops, sorry. If I opened them all the way, then I'd pull out the glue that I'm trying to let dry. So we're going to let those set for a little while. Now, one thing that I did do wrong, you are supposed to start from this end over here and work your way that way. I unfortunately started with the first one that had 4 and worked my way this way. The problem is, watch. See, this one, you pick it up and it does it all by itself. You come over here and I open up the last one, all of them open. So it made it for a little bit difficult because I had to go underneath each one of them. So I will change that for the last. Now, funny thing is, you needed to use 13 of them. They gave you 16. This is really good. I lost 1 and broke 2. So it's a good thing we had 3 extra. Luckily, hopefully I won't have that same problem with the next side since I will do it correctly. Okay, so that ends that portion of it. All right, the doors are on, both of them now. I think they look pretty good. This one should be drier than the last one, so as you can see, I've left them so that they can open for now. Once I get them weighed and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how all that works. So the next part looks like they get to do the walkway. And apparently the walkway is all of these parts get to be put on there so that I can then put the nice little walkway on top of it. So we're going to see how that works. This took a long time, mostly because the little parts that are in the hinges had a hard time getting into the holes, and the way that I had to do it was I actually hooked those onto the doors and then I put them on the doors first. And in case you wanted to know, I'm only on step 5. Actually, we added the hatches, so now I'm on step 6. So I still have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to go through. And I don't know, I'm on a couple of hours now on this one. I think probably 5 or 6 hours. These, although they're small and all that kind of stuff, are actually fairly easy to put on. There's just a lot of them. So now I got to do the other side before I can even put the ramp on. Okay, this is one car completely done with the walkway brackets. Now it's time to put this guy on. Now the funny thing is you can see that it actually does have cut holes in there. So I have to try to align, let's see if you guys can see them. Give it a minute to focus. To align those nubs that you see on those walkways with the walkways, to get the walkways to go on there. So that's another fun part. Yay me. So the walkways are on. These are fun to do. Trying to line up all of that in there underneath. And now it's time to put the ends on. So the first is these ends, they are, I mean, they even put a caution in to say carefully cut them out. They are very, very fragile. They are very, very thin. So we're putting the ends on, and we're starting off with the B end where the brake's at. And you can see how it's got to go together. It kind of fits down on that black part there, or in the red part, and then just kind of hits up onto the upper part railing. So we're going to see how this all works. This is all just kind of new and fun, and yay. And then we got handrails and stuff to put on there. So in another couple of years or something like that, I should have these 2 cars done. So let's just continue on. So the end ladders come in 3 pieces. So you've got the center section, and then each one of the sides has got to be put on. So I got this one done. And again, these are really thin ladders, and apparently you were supposed to do these off of the train and then stick them on together. So this one right now is loose from the bottom, so I can put the bottom rails in, because the bottoms actually go inside and touch the inside of the lip and touch the top, and then there's a groove in the side that they all sit in. So I'm going to go finish off on those. So now we got ladders on. So once the ladders got finished, it was time to move on to the next thing, which is the hand wheel. So this is the chain that goes on to the hand wheel. I still have to figure out how it goes on and all that, but you can see, sorry about that. You can see how small this is and the housing that I got to put on it. So this, obviously, is going to go on this end of the train, and then the chain goes down and falls down around someplace. So we're going to find out little someplace, and then we're going to put everything together. Okay, so up until now, this model has been fairly precise and easy to do everything. But this whole chain thing, well, first of all, the chain wasn't long enough. Second of all, you had to try to put this stupid thing through the little tiny hole in the walkway. I don't know if you guys can see that hole, right, which it would have. Third, the walkway alignment just kind of sucked really bad. It was really hard to get them aligned because you couldn't see anything and all that kind of stuff, and they just kind of stuck there. There was no pins or anything like that. So it's done. So now I get to move on to my next step in this process, of day number 3 of building this thing. We got the brake housing, so now we're going to put on the bolster caps, and we're getting closer to the bottom of the car. So we're going to go ahead and do our next steps then. Okay, so this part of the video is dedicated to Fred. Here's the grab iron that's up on the top, and then there's grab irons, and grab irons, and grab irons, and grab irons. And yeah, these grab irons took forever to put on, and I put them on in 2 different places. And luckily I wasn't live streaming because I would have got booted off the live stream. But they're on, and they're done. So now I'm moving on to something that's fun. So yeah, in honor of Fred, there's going to be a lot of words on this one. All right, there we go. 2 new hopper cars done. So here is, I had to put, I went with steel wheels rather than the ones that were on there. I decided to change them out. See, the brake lines are there. There's air hoses that get attached in there too. Those got put on. Okay, you can see the detail. All the brake lines in there and all that. The chain, I'm going to have to figure out what I can do on the chain. There's the stirrups as well as the hand grips. We got all of the dumps out. I glued one set of couplers on and was able to screw on another set of couplers. I had to find some screws. That was kind of fun. Bastardized something for that, which you can see here. So these 2 are done. This was a long build. It took almost 3 days to do it. So let's look at this real quick. So here's our walkway. That's all done. And now remember, I decided at this point in time, because I don't know what the weight of these cars are yet, I have to weigh them, that I have a unique car, 2 unique cars that have opening doors on them. So both of those have opening doors, and of course one of them has to fall out. Okay. We'll go look at the other one while I play with this. You can see in here that it's got detail all in the brake lines with the brake line systems. We have brake lines down on the bottom. That's the return line. Those are the 2 supply lines on either side. There is supposed to be brake lines on the actual, actually the for the shoes and all that, actually on these trucks, but it was too late. You can see here that it has the airline. It might be on the wrong side. It has an airline on the front. And the airline disconnect on the back. The back doesn't have much except for the big hole that's there. There's not much I can do about that. A couple of holes in there. So otherwise, this is a pretty nicely detailed model. Again, I'll figure out how much it weighs and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll go ahead and put it on the track. Okay, model railroaders, so that concludes this little series. Yeah, it did derail at the end, so again, like I said, I have to probably put some weight in those cars. But there they are. They're done. They look pretty nice. They're pretty sharp. For 14 bucks, I got some really nice, high-quality cars. So thanks for watching, and share, like, subscribe, leave comments, or whatever. Everybody, have a great new year. This is my last video for the year. So I will see you guys in 2021.